Hey everyone,
This is Mukul.
and this is Swapnil.
Welcome to Going Slow podcast, where we discuss our product journeys.
And also have casual discussions around life, universe, and everything in between.
Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 9 of Going Slow podcast. Hey Swapnan, how's it going?
Hey Mukul, everything is going great. It's been a good week. Yeah, how about you? How is everything?
So fully recharged and productive week then, right?
I think in a long time, December was very slow, but yeah, I think the last week was super productive.
For me too, it was extremely productive in a way because we are looking forward to submit a new app, and there was so many back and forth because we released a new app after a year. So whatever we knew to submit the app, the whole thing got modified or changed in some way, and due to which like we had to try again and again to submit the same thing, and we were like, whoa. After just 1 year there are so many changes we had to do to just submit and make it in review. Shopify has a very good review process, and it's strict in a way that there are two steps in that review. When you submit the app, there is a bot review. So there are like automated steps which bot will check. Like for example, it will check that certain fields are already filled or not. Like for example, have you put in support email, have you put in privacy URL, have you put in all the things which are needed. Then it will also check something like if webhooks are properly authenticated, your web URLs are properly authenticated, are they throwing proper errors or not. So, and certain URLs to hit for GDPR stuff, like if you are hitting this GDPR endpoint, does your server returning proper date. So once that bot review gets successful, it goes to a human review. Like then a person reviews the app, the functionality, and if there are any comments on that, they will add a like a note that hey, these are the points which you have to work on. Then they approve, and then that get listed. So it is very streamlined, and it is like they are very responsive. Like we got, I would say, a review by a person in just 1 to 2 days. So that was extremely fast. We didn't expect that.
Got it. So, like, this feels like a great quality assurance testing. Is there like a limit of the number of reviews that you can do? For example, if it gets rejected, is there like a cool off period?
No, currently no. So basically, what happened was there were a few errors which we were trying to fix. So just to check like whether that error is fixed or not, we submitted app again and again and again. So after that, we got a email that hey, your app has been rejected. Um, and if you like try to submit again and again and again, like for example if you spam it, then it might lead to suspension. So you get that message, and I think if you try to spam it, they will either suspend the app or the entire partner account. So I think that check is in place already. So yeah, so they have
And
like taken like very, very big steps to help the app review team. Yeah.
got it. And you also mentioned you should have like a GDPR endpoint in place. What is that? I've never heard of that.
So those endpoints are specifically, I think, for European policies, because in Europe data is very, I would say, uh, needs to be handled carefully. So it's just an endpoint that like if a shop has uninstalled your app, then you have to delete all the data associated with that shop in like next 2 months. So those GDPR endpoints is to ensure that hey, this is the timeline. Please remove the data related to the shops basically.
Like, can you walk me
So
through the flow? So, like, what is the endpoint meant for? What does the request contain? What do you have to return in the response? This is
Uh,
interesting.
in the in the response it's simple. It's just like you have to process it, and a response, you have to return response like success response, you have to return 200 response. If you don't return 200 response, that means it's an error. That means you have not done that thing correctly. So they will basically send a, like, connect with you and all those things. That means that you have not followed the GDPR pattern, and that in that sense they will connect with you. Second is basically they will send something like shop. In case of customers, they will send something like a customer ID. Every customer has a customer ID, every shop has a shop ID. So using that customer ID and shop ID, you have to delete all the data associated with that shop ID and customer ID. So it's like a privacy thing, you cannot hold. So basically, if you have an app and if someone is installing the app and uninstalling the app, you cannot hold that person's data, you just have to delete it. So I think that's a great measure because to ensure privacy and security. So yeah, I mean, best is to ensure that there is no, I mean, you're not storing data, personal data or customer data or the data of some user which they have uninstalled already.
Got it. So is this
Uh,
endpoint like called internally when someone deletes an account, or is this something by the client itself?
It's called by the Shopify itself. Basically, Shopify
Okay.
manages it itself. So Shopify consider assume Shopify is like a central entity, and on the left hand side there is a store, and on the right hand side we have apps. So basically, whenever shop is uninstalled, it goes to the central entity Shopify, letting them know that hey, shop has been uninstalled, and then this central entity Shopify will basically send webhooks alerts that hey, the shop has been uninstalled, and then it will trigger all the webhooks like GDPR webhooks, all the post app uninstalled webhook, it will then trigger after that.
Got it. Super interesting. So Shopify is making sure that you acknowledge that you have deleted the
Yeah.
data. Yeah, this is
Yes,
interesting.
yes. We have to make ensure that like it's amazing. Like especially the webhook architecture they have created, it's really amazing because everything we are like very closely associated with Shopify, right? So anything happens, like if order is created, if product is created, draft order is created, in all scenarios we get alerts, and those alerts are very, I would say, the scale at which they are happening is insane, and the level of, I would say, reliability there is extremely high.
Yeah, this
So our
is
small, like just to give, like our small, like we have two apps like Appointo and Depot. Appointo has processed in last 1 year around 2.5 million webhooks,
wow.
and Depot has almost processed around 1 million webhooks. So yeah, I mean, it was like the number is like over time, obviously, like over time, 1 year, 1.5 year, but it feels really good to see. Oh man, there were so many things happened. The number is
Yeah.
quite good.
What's your tech stack like? Where is all of your code hosted?
Our tech stack is extremely simple because that's our idea to keep it extremely simple. We use Ruby on Rails for backend, for deployment. That's it.
Got it. And Heroku takes care of all
Nothing.
the auto scaling.
Yes. I mean, it's totally worth it. Like the tech stack we have, it has helped us a lot of time because Ruby on Rails is amazing. First, and Heroku mix with Ruby on Rails, it's almost like it almost takes all of your pains away types. You just have to focus on your business logic. If that is correct, then that solves the issue. In basically, and also like Shopify has provided like a front-end UI library already called Polaris. So in that case, what happens is like whatever you build, it almost looks like the same UI as Shopify. So it almost looks embedded. So, so we don't have to take care of design and all this thing because whatever you will build in that embedded design, it will almost look like it's part of Shopify. So that's a great thing too.
Got it. This is interesting. So you mentioned you have another app depot, and then in the past episodes you talked about another app, Signpanda, and then you have like a platform independent version as well. So
Yeah.
so how do you think about releasing multiple apps versus doubling down on existing ones? Like, what was the thought process around?
Yeah, I mean, in our cases, we basically are doing whatever we want to do, kind of like in that sense. So in our thought process was like this is a good problem to solve. With respect to Sign Panda, we tried to validate few things that hey, is this problem like worthy enough to solve? Like basically, does this have a market first of all? So after all this calculation, we realized that hey, this has a market. So we kind of think in like in terms of like for example we are at $15,000 MRR now at this point. Our goal is to like in 1 year we reach that milestone. In next year, like in 2022, our goal is to at least double it because it's like almost same, right? Like 15 if you're reaching in 1 year, the second year you should reach 30 or more basically because you have the foundation. So our goal to reach that point is we are so our thought process is we have to go there anyhow. Like we can go there by doubling down on a point two, or we can basically build multiple apps in the ecosystem, whatever works, whatever floats the boat. So we thought hey, like this Sign Panda has potential, and in terms of that, and if we could just add like $1,000 in like next 6 months with respect to that, it will move us closer to the goal we have.
Right.
So that's why we release like multiple like this app. And with respect to doubling down on Appointo, we are actually doubling down, but we feel that there is a lot of uncertainty in that area, or I would say inexperience on our side. Like how exactly we should move forward, how exactly we should do things, how exactly we should go this way. So in that cases we get little stuck or we get little slow, I would say. So our goal is to improve on it slowly but not to halt our MRR in the process. So it's just like you do things which are working well like continuously, and you also try new things which are not working well. So yeah, I think
I
that's the
feel
thought
that this is
process.
like a good question to ask other people in this field as well. And like we were talking before that, after some episodes, we want to have guests as well. So
Yeah.
we can like actually ask those people how do they navigated the 1 to 2 journey and how they thought about doubling down and exploring other stuff. So yeah, I think this feels like a good topic for episode number
Yeah,
one.
definitely. Definitely. Yeah, that would be a great question to ask. And actually, I was a call with few people yesterday, and there was a great perspective there too, why you should double down and not go multiple apps route. So the reason was basically when you're doubling down, so now you have a foundation ready. You have some credibility that hey, for example, in case of Appointo, like Appointo, you have an app which is doing XXX and which is helping this many customers, which has helped like a customers to increase their booking from 30 to 50%. So in that cases you have credibility. The Appointo is a system, booking system, that is like your credibility. Now you can basically go deeper and build integrations and partnership with different platforms. So you can say hey, see, like I have, like for example, if you're going for a big brand, you can say that hey, like we have a booking app that can basically help you solve any appointment related issues you have. If you have any custom requests, do let us know, we'll work on it and making customized for you. And for that we'll have like a custom plan which is like which will be like a very enterprise based and high. So that will generate like a big amount of revenue, and it will bring like a big customers to your app. So that is like this point they mentioned, and it actually made sense. And yeah, hopefully we will try to so we thought like we should also try this, that we should also try to pitch it, we should try to pitch our app as like basically a booking system which can help you increase your revenue, something like which can help you increase your scheduling system and also the revenue. So it then becomes like an app which helps you with conversion, like your uh, money conversion, your sales conversion. So in that case we want to try to target like new brands, and listen to their problems, what exactly they have, and then build like customized solution for them, and then have an customized enterprise plan for them, so that we can get big ticket items. But I would say this is like just a start for now. We'll get to know how it goes into the future.
This also aligns with the saying that we have that do one thing well, and that is your
Yeah.
unique positioning in the market. That makes sense. I want to switch gears a bit, and I have this question for you, which is like, how do you explain to your family what you do?
Yeah, that's a tough that's a tough question. Because because for like more like in my room, like basically working on something or working on a laptop, and it's like, what exactly are you doing, and when are you going to get a job? Like that was the question I had to I had like few times. And yeah, I mean, I have tried to explain like exactly what I'm trying to do and stuff, but I think they have that thing that it's risky and all that. But now they are starting to realize, oh, it's a good trade or something like that. When it was almost like zero, when I quit my job, it was extremely tough, because at that point it was very difficult to explain why exactly it's worth it. Like why exactly are you leaving like a high paying job to earn like a small amount, like
Yes.
in a startup. Yeah, it was I would say extremely difficult
So
in that phase.
how
What about you
how
though? Like how did you explain?
so my reasoning was very simple. I told them I want to try something on my own. Would you rather have me doing it now or 5 years down the line? So they were like, do it now, do it now.
Oh, that's almost like haste haste blackmailing.
Yeah, and well, I had been thinking like I wanted to start just right after college as well. So they knew that he wants to do it. He's passionate about it, so they knew that he will do it. When I finally took that decision, so that was my reasoning to them that hey, this is a good time because I don't have a lot of responsibilities, so I don't have that pressure to, like if it doesn't work out in 6 months, I don't have that pressure to go back. So I'll be able to give a fair shot. Otherwise, if you get rushed back into a job in 6 months, then you're back to square one, wherein you're still considering that you will want to do this somewhere down the line. So I was like, hey, I want to just do this once and for all, so that if it doesn't work out, I can be content with myself that okay, you gave a fair shot. That's fine. A lot of things don't work out as per our wishes. That's fine, but you won't have that regret of not trying, which sort of finally convinced them, okay, do it now. Don't do it 5 years down the line. And they were like very clear, don't do it 5 years down the line.
Definitely. I actually said the same thing. I actually told them that I want 1 year. For 1 year, you will not say anything to me that what am I doing, or why are you not doing a job? Like just 1 year, because I said that, see, I have calculated that I have enough savings for us for 1 year. So I'll try to pursue these things as as long as I can, and after 1 year, if it doesn't work, then I'll get a job. So I told them explicitly that, and then they were like, okay, cool, let's do that. I think in our case, I think it feels that it was little bit simpler in a way, because I had a co-founder, so there was someone who was quitting with me.
uh,
But I feel in your case, because I can say that, hey, the person I'm working with is also quitting.
right.
So we are in it together. But in your case, it's like solo person quitting. So I feel it must be lot tougher.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was tough for sure, but um, but yeah,
I just curious about this. Like when you quit, like were you the only person who quit, or any of your friends in any of your did you know someone in your friend circle who quit too?
no, no. At that time, it was a solo thing.
That gets a lot scarier then again, right? It must
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
lot scary.
it was scary for sure. It sort of did not hit me um, exactly when I left, but around 2 3 months later, on in that week, when usually your salary gets credited, after 2 3 months, it sort of hit me because it was that day of the month and nothing. I did not get that SMS, and then like I could see the balance going down because in that time frame I hadn't really reduced my expenses. So now my expenses are like really, really small compared to what I had back then. But just after I quit, like I took some time to reduce expenses. So like bank balance was going down in the usual way. And there was no topping up. That was when it really hit me. Okay, you need to figure this out.
I think that is one of the biggest reason maybe many people don't quit. I mean, many people don't quit because there are obviously other things like family and other interests they have, which takes that financial amount. But there are many people who are already financially secure, and they also don't want to quit, realizing that basically your bank balance will go in negative once you quit, and that uncertainty that whether you will able to achieve that amount once again or something like that. But yeah.
That is there. But I also feel that it's easier to do this when you're younger because you haven't you haven't been in that space for a long time. So when I talk to my seniors like in office about this thing, so they were like they're not even giving this a thought because they were like doesn't make sense. It feels like a different world altogether. Now I think just now having been on the other side, having had both experiences, whatever decision I or you take maybe 5 years down the line, that will like a more informed decision of what works better. And it's also a phase as well. You might like something in a particular phase, something else in a particular phase. So yeah, but yeah, fun so far.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because so when I think of it, like I quit my job when I was 26. So it's I almost feel like every person goes through his own experience journey where he's like where he doesn't know about anything. Then he goes through some failures to realize that, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and then at certain point he realized, oh, this is what we need to basically get things done or uh, make build stuff. Uh, so earlier you go through that graph, the better. Like for example, if you start at 23, 20, 22, it's better to reach go through that phase in the early phase of your life where you do not have much dependency, and later you are in a very good state. You're in a good state of mind, something like that. So I personally feel like in our case like whenever at this point we might think that, oh, we should have done it sooner because
Yeah.
after things happen we realize that, oh, we should be able to do that. If we would have done it like a lot sooner, it would
Mhm.
have been a lot better, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, it's almost
uh,
like a rite of passage. Um,
yeah, exactly.
but at the same time, it's not for everyone as well, right? Because it's like a very meta thing wherein we have only experienced one path of it, which is we don't know what it feels like to not have this journey now, right? It's like the
Yeah,
curse of knowledge now. We can't empathize with the other side now. So whatever we talk with each other, that's sort of like already biased.
obviously. Yeah, I mean that definitely. And also, like, did you ever feel like you need to have a co-founder, or were you okay with solo thing from the start?
Okay, good question. I knew that I wanted to have a co-founder. I was just not in a rush to find one. Probably because I had been part of some startups before that and even in college. So I knew that if you just pick someone random just for the sake of it, it's more likely that you get the opposite of synergy. So instead of one plus one equaling three, having someone wrong would actually bring you. And that happened actually in one of the startups as well, wherein I was with someone working on an idea, and after a few months, for some reason, of course, the reasons would be valid, but for some reason, the other person chose to go back to a job. And that sort of made me go into a spiral that, okay, now this person has left. What do I do now? So yeah, I think after that I was like, let's make solo decisions. Be on the lookout for good people as well.
Hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense.
What
Yeah,
about
I
you? How
mean,
how did you
co
find your co-founder, and like what like how do you feel
we
about importance of a co-founder?
we are from the same college, same lobby, same hostel. So we know each other from a very long time. And when we started working on the app, so we were both technically okay and good. So our skills were complementing each other basically. So in that case, and our thought process was very similar because our thought process in that way that we had certain set of rules when we decided to work on apps, and when we were, I would say, both working part time on this. So the rules were simple. First rule was basically we do not want to raise, at least in the start, like at least for a long time, like that should be the last thought. Second, we don't want to disrupt or anything, we just want to make something which will generate some revenue, either in the Shopify space or any space which will give us anything, opportunity. So third was, to quit we need a certain amount to make it, like at least it will cover our monthly expenses, that it should cover at least basic or monthly expense. So that was our thing. So we totally basically both on board with were on board on all those points, that hey, these are the points. And last point which totally helped us with respect to how we look at money, because we both had saved up enough money to go for a year. So in that case, basically, it helped us a lot in deciding that, oh, okay, like when we are generating like ramen profitable kind of revenue, we can go over full time and then see for 1 year and then realize that, hey, whether we want to continue or not. So there were a lot of, I would say, ideas which were totally aligned in our cases, and that helped us a lot, basically.
This feels like a very good value alignment. Like now I'm just like thinking that there should be a platform wherein people can just come and put down what these
The
things,
value.
and then you like actually match people on that, because co-founder matching is very hard. It's very hard. Many people I know, they want to do it, but the first roadblock that they have in mind is, I can't find a co-founder. And the tech skills and the other hard skills is something you can learn on the go. Like you also learned a lot of non-tech things during execution, right? So I think those can be learned, but the core foundation between you and your co-founder, I think that is something which is like quite good, and I think that is something which should happen more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it also, in our case, it helped because our perspective in things was very similar, because we had a similar kind of journey. So perspective and learnings were a bit similar, more or less. In case, like for example, if someone is coming from a different background, the perspective is totally different. So in that case, if it is okay to, yeah, I mean, if it is okay, then that's perfect. Like, but I think in terms of like co-founder, if more than product, I would say product idea execution, if you are like if you have like a connection with your co-founder, that's like the best thing, because ideas, products that will iterate over time, that will go to a place from nothing to everything over a period of time. But how co-founders handle the rough times, how like when things go south, how they go through that part, I think that is like the deciding make or break kind of point. That will either break the things because there is no liability, right? There is no incentive, there is no money there. So anyone can leave at any point and say that, hey, I'm doing this job or I'm doing this thing. So only thing at that point is just that long dream or whatever insight in motivation they have or that trust in each other that so I think that is very much required because I think in the early stage there is no incentive.
Yeah, I think that you put this very well, and I just thought of how we can just do like an MVP if people and just test if people really want it. So what I want the listeners to do if they're looking for a co-founder is just tag us on Twitter. Our handle is Going Slow Pod, and just list down your value system. What is something you are looking for? What is something that motivates you? What are your thoughts on raising money? What are your thoughts on disrupting? Are you someone who wants to disrupt something, or are you okay with a product which is, which does not disrupt anything in a big way? What are your other thoughts? I think, when do you quit?
Yeah.
How do you look at money? Do you have savings? How long of a savings do you have? And if someone is looking for a co-founder, just tweet at us at Going Slow Pod with like a, I don't know, with answers, with brief answers to these questions, and we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll set you up with someone. I think this is like a good ROI activity. What do you think?
Definitely, definitely. It would be fun, and we would definitely love to help as much as we can. Yeah, I mean, for us, like the definitely the co-founder thing and a ground set of rules really helped us. The reason is like that basically filter out lot of ideas. That if you are trying to do something and then you realize that this doesn't fit the rules we have.
Yeah, that is the best part about startups or indie hacking in general, which is it's sort of you're creating a win-win for everyone. So you're actually creating value and then capturing some of it. So anything you do it to grow, that is also sort of increasing the pie. It's not a zero-sum game, basically.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of it, like it's such a great time to be in. I cannot even imagine like if a person can go zero to life-changing wealth in like 3-4 years of time. I can't imagine that to be happening in like last 50 years, last 100 years. And so like basically previously one generation has to go through that process over their lifetime and then the next generation used to have all the fun. But now I see a lot of people generating life or generation changing wealth over a period of time, and it's all happening over the internet. It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's like
I mean, there's no
why does next generation get to have fun? Why can't we have fun? It's good.
yeah, I mean, and there, the best part is there is no, I mean, nationality and race and caste and all those gender and all those things. Like it just things people do and then they are getting rewarded for it
It's
for
like a level
long
playing
for
field.
yeah, yeah.
Cool then, folks. This time we have a different CTA for you. So if you're looking for a co-founder, just let us know what your value system is. You can maybe rewind this episode to listen to some of the topics that we talked about again, and just give us some brief answers on your value system and tag us. And yeah, we'll see if we can set you up with someone. So yeah, until then, stay curious and don't forget to have fun.